What if I told you that in just a few years, sports marketing will look completely different? Forget the typical athlete endorsements and flashy commercials. The future of sports marketing is about to surprise us all. In this video, we're looking at a big change in how brands connect with sports fans. You'll learn why old marketing methods aren't working as well, how new tech is changing things, and the clever ways top brands are winning fans over. Whether you work in marketing or just love watching sports, this video will give you a fresh take on the industry. Get ready for some eye-opening insights that might change how you see your favorite teams and athletes. Picture this: it's the 2025 Champions League final, and fans around the world are glued to their screens. As halftime begins, they're not rushing for snacks. Instead, they're waiting for PowerPulse's big ad reveal. The stadium screens light up, showing Cristiano Ronaldo Jr., soccer's newest superstar. He's running through a futuristic city, jumping impossibly high, and doing moves that seem to break the laws of physics. It's amazing to watch, and social media goes crazy. Fans flood Twitter with excited posts. PowerPulse's hashtag shoots to the top of the trending list. The marketing team is thrilled, thinking they've nailed it. But then, things take a turn. Someone posts a slowed-down video of Ronaldo Jr.'s ankle during a fancy move. Does this look weird to anyone else? They ask. As the second half starts, people can't stop talking about it. Sports experts chime in, saying the movements don't look right. What was supposed to be a big win for PowerPulse is now causing doubt. Did they fake the video? The PowerPulse social media team panics as angry comments pour in. Their boss's phone keeps ringing with calls from worried higher-ups. They try to calm things down by posting about innovative advertising, but it doesn't work. People want real answers, and other brands are already backing away from similar ads. As the game nears its end, PowerPulse's crisis team scrambles to figure out what to do. They know they're running out of time. When the game ends, everyone will be asking questions. They'll have to tell the truth, but what is it, and how bad will the fallout be? The ref looks at his watch. PowerPulse's team nervously eyes the clock. Can they come up with an explanation before the final whistle? Or is this the start of a PR disaster that could change sports advertising for good? What if I told you that the most revolutionary sports ad of 2025 never actually happened? As PowerPulse's campaign falls apart, we're diving into a world where it's hard to tell what's real and what's fake. Get ready to explore the dark side of innovation, where new tech clashes with human trust, and the big mess that follows when that trust breaks. The game ends, and PowerPulse has to face the music. In a rushed press conference, they admit what fans have been guessing. The whole ad was made by AI. No tricks, no stand-ins, just a computer creating a perfect fake. The tech behind this is mind-blowing. PowerPulse used an AI that can make super realistic video and audio from nothing. It's like having a fake athlete that can do or say anything you want. This opens up huge possibilities, but also big problems. PowerPulse tries to make this sound good, calling it the future of fan engagement. They talk about how the AI can make personal messages for everyone, but fans aren't having it. Social media blows up with anger and disappointment. People feel lied to by a brand they trusted. The backlash hits hard and fast. PowerPulse loses followers by the second, and everyone can see it happening. Other brands jump in, bragging about using real athletes instead. This shakes up the whole sports marketing world. In walks Sarah, PowerPulse's new marketing boss. She watches the mess unfold on screens all around her. As she reads comments from upset fans, she realizes this could be the end for PowerPulse. Sarah sees the irony. The tech that was supposed to bring fans closer has pushed them away instead. Now, she's got the biggest challenge of her career. How do you make people trust you again when everything seems fake? As her team rushes around trying to fix things, Sarah takes a deep breath. She knows the next day is crucial. Can she turn this AI disaster into a lesson in handling a crisis? Or will PowerPulse become a warning about letting tech get ahead of ethics? One thing's for sure, sports marketing will never be the same. The big question is, will PowerPulse survive this mess? Remember that 30% overnight sales drop we mentioned? That was just the beginning. As Sarah got ready to face the board, she held a folder with numbers so bad they might change what brand crisis means. How bad was it? Well, PowerPulse was about to learn what an extinction-level event feels like in the business world. Sarah walked into the boardroom, her heart racing. The board members looked worried and curious. She took a deep breath and started. Everyone, I'll be straight with you. Our sales dropped 30% overnight and our stock price took a big hit. We're looking at lawsuits and losing deals with big name athletes. The room went quiet as Sarah kept talking, trying to stay calm. She showed a slide full of angry social media posts. This is hurting the whole industry. Other companies are running away from us and AI content in general. She showed some fan comments. People don't trust us anymore. And it's not just about PowerPulse. They're doubting everything in sports marketing now. The CEO leaned in, looking serious. Sarah, we hired you to update our marketing. Now we're in the biggest mess ever. What's your plan to fix it? Sarah paused. This was her chance to turn things around. We need to change how we do marketing completely. With all this AI and computer stuff, we need to get back to real connections with our fans. She talked about her ideas, showing what happens behind the scenes, letting athletes be themselves, and being honest about the tech they use. Some board members started to look a bit more hopeful, but the CEO wasn't done. He stood up and said firmly, "You've got 30 days, Sarah. Come up with a solid plan to win back trust and stop losing money. If you can't, you're out, and we're rebuilding the whole marketing team. Got it?" Sarah nodded, feeling responsible for everyone's jobs. As she left the room, her mind was already working. This crisis could end PowerPulse, or it could start a whole new way of doing marketing. Time was running out. She had to get to work. Sarah knew she needed a game-changing strategy, but even she wasn't ready for where inspiration would hit. Scrolling through social media, a simple post caught her eye. It wasn't polished or perfect, but it was real. That's when it clicked. Maybe PowerPulse needed to embrace imperfection. The post was from a rising soccer star, sharing a frustrated moment after a tough practice. No filters, no fancy captions, just raw emotion. And fans loved it. Comments flooded in with support and similar stories. This wasn't just likes, it was real connection. Sarah's mind raced. What if PowerPulse dropped the glossy ads and perfect images? What if they showed fans the true side of pro sports? It was a risk, but after the AI mess, maybe that's exactly what they needed. She called her team together. "Let's forget what we thought we knew about sports marketing," Sarah said. "We're going back to basics. I want real athletes, real moments, real stories. No more scripts or fake perfection. Let's give fans what they actually want: honesty." The team reached out to their athletes with a bold idea. Instead of stage photos, they wanted to show the everyday life of a pro. Locker room talks, tough workouts, dealing with injuries, and celebrating comebacks. Some athletes weren't sure about it, worried about their image, but a few took the chance, and PowerPulse started sharing this new content. The first posts were scary to put out. A video of a quarterback struggling through training, photos of a tennis player's battered feet after a long match, an open talk with a gymnast about her anxiety. The response was huge. Fans filled the comments, praising the athletes' honesty and sharing their own experiences. Engagement went through the roof. For the first time in weeks, people were talking about PowerPulse for good reasons. It wasn't all easy though. Some worried about privacy, and legal had to work hard to keep everything okay. Plus, many athletes still liked the old way of doing things, but Sarah knew they were onto something big. In a world full of fakeness, people craved something genuine. PowerPulse wasn't just selling drinks anymore, they were creating real bonds. As the positive feedback rolled in, Sarah felt relieved. They'd taken a big risk, but it was working. PowerPulse was rebuilding trust, one honest moment at a time. Still, she worried. Was this enough to fix things after such a big mistake? They'd made progress, but there was still work to do. It was time to push their new, honest approach even further. Raw content had sparked a revival, but Sarah knew PowerPulse needed to go deeper. What if their brand could stand for more than just sports performance? As she pondered their next move, a bold idea took shape. It was time for PowerPulse to put its money where its mouth was and dive into purpose-driven marketing. Sarah gathered her team and laid out her vision. We've shown fans the real side of sports. Now, let's show them how sports can change the world. She introduced the idea of aligning PowerPulse with causes that mattered to both athletes and fans. The plan was simple but powerful. They'd let their sponsored athletes choose issues they cared about: This would ensure the campaigns were genuine and cover a wide range of causes. Soon, PowerPulse was making waves with its new campaigns. A soccer star cleaned up beaches to help save the oceans. A basketball icon opened up about his anxiety to promote mental health. A tennis champ got sports gear to kids in poor schools. Each campaign mixed real action with social media stories. Fans watched their heroes tackle real problems, with PowerPulse backing them up. People loved it. Support poured in through comments and shares. Finally, a brand that actually does something good, fans said over and over. But it wasn't all easy. Some thought certain causes were too political. Others wondered if a sports drink company should even talk about social issues. Sarah and her team handled these concerns carefully. They made sure to explain why each athlete chose their cause. They also showed real results, like how many trees they planted or how much money they raised. Things were looking up. More people were saying good things about PowerPulse, and sales started to grow. Younger buyers especially were interested in the products. As Sarah looked at the numbers, she realized something big. PowerPulse wasn't just selling drinks anymore. They were selling hope for a better world, and fans could be part of it. By supporting good causes, they'd created something more than just brand loyalty. They'd built a community with shared goals. But new challenges were coming. Other brands were copying their idea. How could PowerPulse stay ahead? And could they keep making a real difference without hurting their business? Sarah knew they had a long way to go, but for the first time since the AI mess, she was really excited about PowerPulse's future. They'd found a way to be more than a sports drink. Now came the hard part, living up to that promise. Just as PowerPulse found its footing with purpose-driven marketing, the tech world threw them a curveball. Augmented and virtual reality were changing sports experiences. Could these flashy innovations fit with the brand's new focus on being real? Sarah was about to find out. Sarah looked over reports on AR and VR in sports marketing, virtual stadium tours, player meet and greets, live stats overlays. The ideas were endless, but she remembered how AI had almost ruined PowerPulse. How could they use this tech without losing people's trust? Then it hit her. They needed to be honest about using technology. Sarah called a team meeting. "We're going to be open about our tech," she said. "We'll label anything that uses AI or virtual stuff." The team started work on their big idea, an AR app for stadiums. Imagine pointing your phone at a soccer player during a game. You'd see their stats floating above them, how fast they're running, how accurate their passes are, even their heart rate. It was like having expert analysts right there with you. They launched the app with ads that showed how it mixed the excitement of live sports with deep data. Every ad clearly said, "Uses PowerPulse AR technology." People loved it. Fans shared pictures of the app, amazed at how it helped them understand the game better. People praised PowerPulse for being honest about the tech. "Finally, a company that's straight with us," many said. All the work they'd done to rebuild trust was paying off. Looking at the positive feedback, Sarah realized technology could actually make things more authentic. By giving fans real data and genuine moments, they were creating a new kind of experience. The app's success led to more ideas. VR sessions let fans try athlete workouts. Live games had AR stats you could turn on, making everyone feel like an expert. PowerPulse was on top again, leading the way in sports tech. But Sarah knew they couldn't relax. Things were changing fast, and staying ahead meant always adapting. Getting ready for her next big meeting, Sarah wondered, was this tech comeback enough to fully fix PowerPulse's image, or were there more challenges coming? The game wasn't over, but for the first time in a while, Sarah felt like they were winning. Sarah's new approach was about to face its toughest test yet. Could the fans hold the key to PowerPulse's future rather than fancy tech? Buckle up for a marketing shakeup where customers take the wheel. Sarah gathered her team with big news. "We've shown fans the real side of sports and backed important causes," she said. "Now we're going even further. We're letting our fans guide our marketing choices." The room buzzed with mixed feelings. Sarah laid out her plan: fan councils and open feedback channels. PowerPulse would run regular focus groups, social media polls, and chats with their biggest fans. They moved fast. Soon, PowerPulse had an app where fans voted on new flavors and athlete partnerships. They started monthly video calls with random customers and used social media to get fans' input on campaigns. The first big challenge? Fans loved a charity-run idea from a college kid in Ohio. Sarah's team was nervous, but they went for it. It was a hit. The PowerPulse Pledge Run had thousands of fans running for local charities across the country. Social media blew up with photos and stories, all sporting PowerPulse's logo. It was real, grassroots marketing magic, but it wasn't always easy. As more fans got involved, Sarah had to decide where to draw the line between what fans wanted and what was right for the brand. "We want to listen," she told the company, "but we have to stick to our values too." Even with a few bumps, the fan feedback was a game changer. Fans felt heard, and engagement went through the roof. PowerPulse learned about new trends and markets they'd missed before. A teen skateboarder's idea led to a big win with a new extreme sports league. Another fan's gripe about bottles resulted in a design that boosted sales with parents. Sarah was amazed to see critics turn into superfans. People who felt part of PowerPulse's choices became its biggest cheerleaders, defending the brand online and telling friends about it. As PowerPulse's stock and sales soared, Sarah thought about how far they'd come. They turned an AI mess into a blueprint for putting customers first. But she wondered, how would this fan-focused approach change sports marketing for everyone? The rules were changing, and PowerPulse was writing them. Heading into her next big meeting, Sarah knew one thing for sure: fans would drive the future of sports marketing. Sarah steps into the boardroom, ready to show off PowerPulse's surprising turnaround. The room is tense, but hopeful. She clicks to her first slide, and everyone's eyes widen. PowerPulse's sales are higher than ever, and the stock price has bounced back completely. But the big news is how PowerPulse's honesty-first approach has changed sports marketing. Sarah explains that other brands are now copying their strategies. Raw, behind-the-scenes content and campaigns that actually make a difference are the new must-haves. Fans have changed what they want too. They're demanding real, unfiltered experiences from all sports brands now. No more perfect, polished images. People want to see athletes sweating, struggling, and showing real emotions. Sarah shows a chart of how the sports drink market has shifted. PowerPulse is back on top, but there's a twist. Small, super authentic brands are grabbing significant chunks of the market. They're connecting with fans in ways big companies never could. We're up against local brewers making energy drinks in small batches, and fitness influencers selling their own stuff, Sarah explains. They're tiny, but they feel real, and fans dig that. This new world creates a new challenge. How does PowerPulse stay ahead when everyone's trying to be authentic? Sarah lays out their plan. Keep coming up with new ways to connect with fans, work more closely with athletes, and make sure they're actually helping communities in ways they can measure. Everything we do has to really matter to our community, she stresses. That's how we'll keep people's trust when everyone's claiming to be real. As Sarah wraps up, she thinks about how far they've come. The AI mess that almost ruined them ended up being the push they needed to change for the better. PowerPulse came out stronger, closer to its fans, and with a clearer purpose. In the end, Sarah says, we figured out that even with all this high-tech marketing, it's the human stuff that really matters. True stories, real impact, and genuine connections. That's what makes a brand last. The board members nod and some even clap. As Sarah packs up, she knows there's still work to do, but for the first time in months, she can't wait to see what's next in this new era of sports marketing. Wow, what a ride with PowerPulse. They went from nearly sinking to leading a new age in sports marketing. Let's look at what we learned. That AI ad disaster taught us something big. In our tech-heavy world, being real is what matters. PowerPulse didn't bounce back with fancy graphics or virtual tricks. They focused on actual athletes, their challenges, and their impact. Being real isn't just about raw content, though. It's about supporting causes that matter, letting fans speak up, and using tech to make experiences better, not replace them.